Welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast, brought to you by Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and experience you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for sponsoring the Educational AD Podcast, and go to their website at violetdefense.com. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. I've told you before that we have a Sideline Interactive video score table in our gym, and it is a fantastic product. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every single year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo to see their tables and boards in action and see what these fantastic products can do for you. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Wall of Fame is on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen options, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com, or to learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute, call them at 614-981-3589. You can also email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director's Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives the 95% of the players and parents who love your program a voice and lets you demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank our good friends at Varsity Brands, including BSN, as well as Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing, for their support of the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Today, we are visiting with Brett Rountree. Brett is the brand development director for Skyhawks Sports Academy. I came across Brett through LinkedIn and was really intrigued by the organization, their website. They talk about the things that we as athletic directors talk about every single day, using sports to teach. And this is from their website: respect, teamwork, leadership, sportsmanship, all these great qualities that educational athletics provides. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to share. Brett, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, again, you and I were talking a little bit. We Pacific Northwesters have to stick together, even though you did go to Washington State. We'll forgive you that. Okay.
Hey, go Cougs.
There you go. Well, Brett, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us that 5-minute bio, where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to school, some of your activities, and kind of what led you to your current position with Skyhawks.
Absolutely. I was born and raised out in Eastern Washington, so Spokane, which is actually where our company is headquartered, in a very big soccer family. If it wasn't me playing a game during the weekend, it was watching one of my younger brothers or my parents play. Unfortunately, due to one too many concussions throughout high school ball, that ended my soccer career early. But I still wanted to be involved with sports. It wasn't something I could just walk away from. And so that's really where I moved to the coaching side. Initially, it was just helping sort of assistant coach my younger brother's teams. As I moved into college, that's when I first got this opportunity to coach for Skyhawks Sports Academy. My brothers and I actually attended Skyhawks and Super Tots camps growing up. So I just had all these great memories, and I was excited to be a coach and become part of the company. It was a great summer job through college. I had additional opportunities during the school year as well to coach winter programs. And that also, at that same point in time in college, was when I got a marketing internship at Washington State University with their student rec center. And that's when I started thinking, connecting the dots between potentially a career in sports and marketing at the same time. I think all too often everybody thinks if you're going to work in sports, it's professional teams or nothing. And so this really helped open my eyes that there's this whole other world and way to be involved. And so with that, I went through school. I was getting towards graduating, and I knew that I wanted to work for a company where I got to wake up and go to work every day and be really proud of myself and proud of the work the company was doing. I wanted to feel good. And that sort of process of looking to find a new job happened to be the most pivotal coach memory for me. That was like I couldn't walk away from the company. I had been coaching this same program all summer long. It was a multi-sport camp for 5 to 7-year-olds. And every single week, the same kid was at the program. And towards the end of summer, what I thought was his parent came up to me. It turned out to be this child's aunt, and she was just in tears, profusely thanking me because at the beginning of summer, this child only had one parent, and something happened where that parent was incarcerated. And so he was going through a tough time. And she said these camps were the only thing that made him smile. You can't walk away from a company after an experience like that. Like that just, to this day, is still in my heart. And so after that, I just called the corporate office and I said, look, I'm graduating with the background in public relations and marketing, but seriously, if you guys have any job, like that's where I want to start. I want to be a part of this company and the difference you're making. Like, let me know what it would take. And so I actually started as a regional account manager. I did a little bookkeeping, worked my way around. And now I've been with the corporate office for 7 or 8 years and in this brand development position for about the last 3 or 4. It's been quite the adventure.
Yeah, again, I was looking at all the different roles that you've had with the company. Talk to our listeners a little bit about, that transition from, going from, on the field coach into, the accounting and then into the marketing. And now you're at the national office. So how did that all, take place? It didn't just happen. You made it happen. So walk us through that just a little bit.
Yeah, I like to joke. I've worked a little bit in pretty much every different bucket that makes the company run. Starting off as a coach, I did get that field level hands-on experience. Honestly, I would have been happy just to keep coaching full time for them if the opportunity were there. But, I was ready to move into more of a desk job. And so I called up and started as a regional account manager, which meant program scheduling, supporting our area managers who are working with school districts, park and recreation offices, working with those coordinators to market our programs at that local level, as well as make sure that everybody's getting paid, that if there are other resources we need to bring in, those are made available. And I just started trying to find ways to maximize efficiency there and improve things. And by doing that, I started finding more free time. And so I would take on more tasks. That's what led me to helping on the bookkeeping side, as well as I did franchise sales for a little bit. We are a franchise company, so we operate all across the United States, which I loved. It gave me an opportunity to meet so many people, but I still, my heart was in that kind of marketing background that I have. And it's funny because for a long time I've been telling my boss, I'm like, I just want a job where I can share with everybody how great I think this company is, how passionate I am about what we're doing. And I've been so lucky to be, supportive and have a leadership team that believed in me and helped me get to where I was trying to go.
Sure, absolutely. It's just we're going to get into exactly what Skyhawks Academy is and why an athletic director might want to reach out and get in touch with you in just a minute. For listeners, we're visiting with Brett Rountree. She's the brand development director for Skyhawks Sports Academy. We're going to find out a little bit more, but let's take a quick break and hear from one of our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Violet Defense for supporting the Educational AD podcast. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information. We're back with Brett Rountree from Skyhawks Sports Academy. Brett, in our profession, as you know, as a former coach, leadership and particularly mentorship is so important. So we always ask, who are some of your mentors, maybe family members or coaches that you might have had, or people that you worked with or worked for? Who helped get you to where you are right now?
I have a couple, but there's one major one. Speaking to back in high school, when I couldn't pour all my time and energy into soccer anymore, I sort of shifted towards DECA. I like to brag, I'm a big DECA nerd, like so much fun there. But the reason that was such a great experience for me was actually because the teacher that oversaw, her name was Robin Barnhart. Everybody knows Miss B in kind of the area and with the Washington chapter. I believe she actually now oversees athletics at my old high school. But she just always created a really safe, supportive space for students to learn. She taught us everything from marketing basics to entrepreneurship to sports marketing. If I ever needed something or somebody to go to, she was always there. I think I ate lunch in her classroom every day for definitely the last 2 years of high school. And there was a whole group of people, and she just created that exciting environment you wanted to be in. You knew you were supported. Shifting to now, I briefly mentioned it in the last portion we were speaking, but my current boss, Jason Frazier, I have really high standards for the people I consider mentors in my life, and he just meets every single one of them. I could not find someone that outworks him. He's just very driven. He's very passionate. He's also really open to continuous learning and education. And I think that's so much a big piece of how, as a company, we've had growth. As an individual, I can't even tell you how much I've grown over the last few years, especially since working for him. And it's just the way that he believes in all of his employees. He's going to push us all hard. He knows when I'm doubting myself, but I'm capable of more. He calls me out on it. And he almost approaches it from a coach perspective. I think that a good supervisor, a good leader has so many of the same qualities that a good coach does in order to get the best results from whether it's their players or their employees. And so it's been really great to work for someone who's made the whole office environment and the culture of our company truly into a team atmosphere.
Well, I really agree. I think, leaders, great leaders are coaches. They're encouragers. They challenge you. They found that balance of kicking you in the butt and patting you on the back to help you do your best so the team can do best. That's great. Brett, let's go ahead and share with our listeners exactly what Skyhawks Academy, Sports Academy is, and why they might want to reach out and find a franchise or a contact in their area. Tell us, what Skyhawks Sports Academy can do for the high school athletic director.
Absolutely. So we are a very multifaceted youth sports camp and program company. We have over 11 different sports that we run, from your typical soccer, baseball, basketball, football, all the way to things like track and field and lacrosse. We even have a whole line of STEM sports programs where kids can learn about the science, technology, engineering, and math behind anything from shooting free throws to, figuring out why a basketball might bounce differently in a hot weather location versus a cold weather location. And it teaches kids about the careers in sports that you can have that maybe they never thought of. The way that we work, our programs are typically for children as young as a year and a half for some of our super tots, very beginner, elementary or below elementary age sort of motor skill development. And then as you get into the elementary school ages, that's where our Skyhawks Sports Academy programs kick in. And these are going to be beginner to intermediate level sports instruction. And our whole company is founded on the mission that we're teaching life skills through sports. So it's about identifying those learning moments for kids, as well as teaching them kind of the fundamentals of all these different sports. The way that we work, we partner with school districts, parks and recreation offices, churches, pretty much anybody that has a gym, a free space, or a field. We do a lot of partnership fundraisers too, to help raise money for like PTA groups. And what we do it all. So we partner with you in exchange for being able to use your space. We can handle the registration for programs. We have highly trained coaches that we provide all the background checking for as well. We also do marketing materials for you. We help advertise the program so that you don't have to worry about that. We really want to make it as easy as possible to bring these after school sports programs into schools. At the high school level, we have a lot of opportunities for those that are old enough to coach with us as well, to get some additional experience, whether they have a passion for coaching or just, more work in their sport and really learning while also earning some income.
So I was on your website and it just looks so cool. So for a smaller school, let's say, or a bigger school that wanted to run something for middle school students or students that might not be varsity caliber, you would do it all. You sign up the kids, you hire the coaches, train the coaches, and the school can offer a program through your academy.
Correct. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible for programs to run, whether it's after school, evening or weekend programs or summer camps. We even do holiday, Thanksgiving break camps as well. We've got the equipment, we've got the tools. So we're making this a team effort. We're trying to make it easy on you.
Okay. We're going to do this again at the end of the podcast, but if somebody wanted to reach out to, find out more about the company, maybe get enrolled, maybe even reach out to you, what's the best way that they can get in touch with Skyhawks in their area?
Absolutely. They can just go to our website, which is www.skyhawks, which is SKYHAWKS.com. From there, you can learn everything about the individual programs that we run, to if anyone has interest in learning more about our franchise opportunities. Everything that you need is right there.
Right. Brett Rountree, Skyhawks Academy. We're going to be back with some more, but let's take another break and hear from our sponsors. It's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also providing a game day experience for your student athletes. I told you before, we have a Sideline Interactive video scoring table in our gym, and it is really fantastic. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live demonstration and see their tables and boards in action so you can see what these fantastic products can do for you. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. You won't be disappointed. We're back with Brett Rountree, who is the brand development director for the Skyhawks Sports Academy. Brett, one of the things we try to do with the podcast is this idea of sharing best practices. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are some best practices that you feel Skyhawks Academy provides for schools or for your clients? And we mentioned you've got a pretty good background in athletics. So, why should an athletic director, get in touch with your company again?
I think one of the biggest commonalities when it comes to best practices between what we're doing at Skyhawks Sports Academy and what an athletic director is facing is just the fact that your coaches really are everything. They're so important. In our case, the coaches are the ones that are interacting with the kids that come through our programs. They're interacting with the parents coming through our programs, as well as the communities that we're running these classes and camps at. So it's really important to make sure that you're offering them accurate and adequate resources and supporting them as different things come up. A great example of that was in the summer of 2020, when we had a while, we were able to start running sports camps again. We realized that kids that were coming to these programs had just a lot of pent up emotions and feelings from their time spent in the quarantine, and they needed a safe space to process that. We took the feedback from our coaches. We worked with them to incorporate a 10 to up to 30-minute wellness kind of check-in session at the beginning of each day of our summer camps, because these kids were coming to our coaches with questions that they needed help figuring out how to answer, how to navigate those conversations. And so that's where having those resources and as much training as you possibly can for them is really, really key. At the end of the day, your school, your company can have the best mission and values, but if your coaches aren't embodying and living out those same mission and values every single day that they're around those people, those different groups, then at the end of the day, you're not actually doing what you're trying to do, what you set out to do. And so taking the time and investing in your coaches is one of the best things you can possibly do for success.
Oh, absolutely. As a longtime athletic director, I can tell you that, the majority of phone calls and challenges that you're trying to deal with come back to coaches. And, you hit it right on the head, training those coaches so they can go out and represent the school, represent the athletic department is just so crucial. Great stuff. Okay. We're visiting with Brett Rountree from the Skyhawks Sports Academy. We're going to be back for more, but let's hear again from one of our sponsors. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs is on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen options, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Welcome back, everyone, to our visit with Brett Rountree from the Skyhawks Sports Academy. Brett, one of our original questions with our podcast relates to this idea of being socially aware. And for our listeners, we're recording this on October 12th. So John Gruden just stepped down as head coach of the Raiders. So the topic is still very much out there. So, Brett, here's my question for you. How can an athletic director or a head coach, how can an AD do a better job of being socially aware for their program, for their coaches, for their kids? Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's important to acknowledge what a privilege it is to be able to work with children and be, when I say children, I also include, high school students as well and beyond, but to be able to shape and mold the minds and create a safe space for these kids. And one of the best ways you can do that is by trying to be as socially aware as you can and by always working towards educating yourself and improving and learning. For Skyhawks, for us, that meant looking back at why our company was founded. We were founded on the idea that every single child should be able to experience the joy and benefit of playing sports. Now, initially, that was really talking about children of different skill levels. From there, we developed this motto of teaching life skills through sports. And we've taken that and expanded it to what can we do to truly give every single child, every person coming through our programs, the opportunity to experience the joy and benefit of sports. But that doesn't just mean by giving them access to the program. It means going above and beyond. It's thinking about things like, what can we do to create a truly safe and wholly inclusive environment in our program so that every child feels they can show up 100% true to themselves and have a great time. It's something that requires people to kind of take a step back and realize, like, it's not about you, it's not about your coaches, it is about creating a truly, inclusion is a very big word and it takes time to get there, but it really is so important. And it's about reaching out and talking to your staff. It's about talking to the athletes coming through your program to understand maybe where those weak spots are and to work to improve. For us, it means running programs in multiple locations so that people with transportation issues can get to the programs easier. It means finding ways to offer lower cost or no cost programs, or working with families that maybe need help in order to afford things. From an athletic director standpoint, there may be kids that can't access or get to a doctor's appointment for physicals. Okay, is there a way you can host like a clinic day or something at the school? Maybe you can partner with a local doctor's office organization and see if they will ever do those at a low or no cost. You really have to dig deep and be creative and understand that sports are sort of an escape for so many of us. I know personally, it's how I escape stress, whether it was from school or life or anything else. How can you create an environment where your athletes can truly lose themselves in the experience and the joy of playing those sports? And that means addressing some of the outside factors in their lives that might impact them from being able to play.
Wow. Very, very cool stuff. Really appreciate you sharing, and just I'm continually amazed and impressed about the commonalities between what Skyhawks offers and what an athletic director that's promoting educational athletics has. We're going to be back with our final segment, the Athletic Director's Toolbox, which is sponsored by Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. And we're going to find out what tools are going to go in Brett Rountree's AD Toolbox. We'll be right back. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the AD's Toolbox segment of the podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives the 95% of the players and parents who really love your program a voice, and helps demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Brett, this has been really cool, getting a chance to get to know you and hearing all about Skyhawks Sports Academy, but we're not done yet. We always like to wrap up with the Athletic Director's Toolbox, which again is sponsored by Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Now, you certainly have a strong background in athletics as a participant, as a coach, and now with a national organization. But right now, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 things in their toolbox. What 3 items are going to go in Brett Rountree's Athletic Surveys AD Toolbox?
Well, these are not physical items, so to speak, but some very important things that I think anyone working in sports, period, definitely an athletic director should be keeping in mind. The first and foremost thing is get a true understanding of your program and what it looks like. If that means sending a survey out to your athletes, a survey out to your coaches to really understand if they feel it's a safe space, if they feel the sports being offered accurately reflect what students want to participate in. If there are some sports where maybe you see gender gaps, that there are way more male students and female students wanting to participate in them. What's the reasoning behind that? What can you do to help sort of fill those differences? If you're going to improve what you're doing and build a better program, you have to know where you're starting from and where you're currently at. And that's something that a continuous check-in, whether it's once a year, maybe it's quarterly, that's the first piece you really need to accomplish that. The second thing is going to be to don't be afraid to rely on the community. Are you connected to the community? Are you plugged in? Are there other local partners that maybe you're missing out on? I think all too often people skip to view partnership as meaning sponsors, and it does not have to be that way. If you want to make your organization the best it can be, sometimes you're going to have to look to other people to help you grow, to help you improve what you're doing. When you look at Skyhawks Sports Academy, I think hands down, one of the coolest partners we have is actually the Positive Coaching Alliance. I highly encourage you to go there because they have unlimited tools and resources as well, whether it's for coaches interacting with parents, really just all about how to build players up as a coach, as bad coaches tend to be one of the number one reasons that athletes actually leave their sport. And so it's things like that, like find outside resources that can help make your program even better, even if it's just someone coming in and running a training for your coaches or an exercise or workshop for your students. And then finally, never stop learning and improving. I don't think anyone is ever 100% to their goal of creating this, truly inclusive and amazing organization. That's something you should always be working at. You should always be trying to get better. You can learn as you're going, improve, learn from your mistakes. Hopefully you're finding new ways to continue building the program. I think the Skyhawks motto of teaching life lessons through sports is something that applies to, again, anybody working in the sports industry. We all are in a very unique position to build up our athletes. Whether you try to or not, people are going to learn life lessons through sports. They're building their character through sports. For Skyhawks, we're focusing on our big five, and we actually updated them recently to include inclusion to help kids understand what that really means. So we're focusing on teamwork, inclusion, sportsmanship, leadership, as well as things like respect. It's something that your job as an educator is not done solely in the classroom. For some students, sports is where they're going to learn these things. It's where they're going to grow. And so by being open yourself to continuing to learn and grow and improve, it's going to benefit all the athletes that come through.
Wow, just some great wisdom by a bright young face in our industry. Thanks so much for sharing. And again, if one of our listeners wants to reach out and find out a little bit more about Skyhawks Sports Academy, or even pick your brain, what's the best way that they can do that?
Absolutely, they can head to www.skyhawks.com. They're also more than welcome to shoot me an email. My email address is just B as in boy and then Rountree, which is ROUNTREE @skyhawks.com. Again, Skyhawks is SKYHAWKS. We're out here trying to improve the entire sports and especially youth sports industry. And we're, especially me, I'm always willing to chat through it and learn from other people as well. So look forward to hearing from you.
Okay. Brett Rountree, Brand Development Director for Skyhawks Sports Academy. Thanks so much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are being uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back again next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast.